Hey everyone, and welcome to the results announcement video of the Burger Cave contest. Now, what's a Burger Cave, you might ask? Now, back in 2019 in the Dive Coaster contest, a user by the name of Link74, he added this cave in his entry with this large sign in front saying burger, and there's a burger stall hidden behind it, and it kind of became a meme on my Discord. So yeah, for this contest, which was announced on April Fool's Day, every player has to build a burger cave. Now, of course, it's a ride creation contest, so players in this case also had to build a B&M Twister coaster, which is actually what they were rated on. So anyway, yeah, I will just start with the entry that got the lowest score, and I'll finish by announcing who's the winner of this round. And because this was round 50, players were allowed to make teams of up to 4 people. Alright, the entry with the lowest score was this entry from Plasma Wolf. Plasma Wolf actually joined in some of the earliest contests that I hosted on my multiplayer server, I believe. So it's always nice to see someone join back after many years. Now here we can see this big beige Twister coaster. Now it travels underground for quite a large duration of the ride. I always recommend against that. It's always nicer when you can actually see more of the coaster. Now I also think this coaster could have used a longer layout, since yeah, it does have quite a big lift hill. So probably it could have maybe used a little bit more track, maybe over here with 1 or 2 extra inversions. For a Twister coaster, I think that would have been nice. Now, I do think the landscaping in this entry does look really nice. But maybe an attraction or 2 or some eye catchers here and there, yeah, would have been nice to keep the attention of the viewer a little bit longer. Alright, here we have the entry from the Claude QC. He made this big jungle map. Again, a lot of this map focuses on landscape instead of having interesting eye catchers. So yeah, there's a big Twister coaster here in the middle. Now, there are a few things that probably could have been improved a bit. First of all, these trains are just huge. It kind of looks a bit comical. And yeah, I think the ride actually has a bit too many trains, because they always have to stop in the mid-course brake run. And for real coasters, that's something which they usually try to prevent. So 1 less train probably would have already helped a lot. Maybe they just have to wait a long time, because it takes a lot of gas to actually fill one of these trains. Alright, here's entry from Ma de Zalk, or also known as Glazed Ham backwards. Now he made this entry based on some IP that I don't really know. I do think the map looks really cool, especially, for example, the station over here. I like how it kind of looks overgrown, but still with some futuristic aspects to it. Lots of machinery throughout the map. I kind of quite like these twisters here. Yeah, I think it just looks really cool. He did state in his story, though, that he kind of ran out of time, and I think it kind of shows. Because yeah, quite a few parts of the map do look a little bit empty. But still, I think the parts that are there look very promising. I think it's a really cool theme. Alright, here we have the entry from Lurker. Lurker made this island map with a hilly landscape in the middle, with a laydown coaster. And yeah, his Twister coaster is actually here tucked away in the corner of the map. Yeah, not really sure if that's a good idea when the focus is to make a B&M Twister in the map. It's probably a good idea to also make that the center point of attention in the map. That will usually get you a score that's a bit higher. I do think the map looks incredible. Yeah, these buildings, they all look great. The foliage also looks great in this map. And I really enjoyed the landscaping as well. Okay, here's the entry from DJ Vesey and Johnson. Now, they did a lot of decorating in this map. Yeah, this map looks incredible. I really enjoy all these buildings over here, especially this one over here with the tower. That looks great. The palette is probably a little bit on the bright side. Maybe it would have been better if the colors were toned down a bit. Now, the reason why this didn't score any higher is most likely because this, you can see a pair of B&M Twisters over here. But their layouts don't really look like B&M Twisters. It actually looks quite a bit more like a Eurofighter coaster, for example. Especially, for example, over here, there's this vertical lifts and then a beyond vertical drop. And that's not something you would see on a B&M Twister coaster. But still, I do think it looks pretty nice. Alright, here's an entry from Skifa. Now, the players, of course, had to make a burger cave. And Skifa decided to make his entire entry look like it's inside a cave. So over here you can see the entrance of the cave. It says the sign saying burgers inside. And then the entry here has been made to look like it's actually underground. So yeah, this roof, you should just imagine that this is a cutout so you can see inside. I think it looks really cool with all this mine-themed scenery. It's actually diamond tea. You can see this belt carrying all this diamond into this building. You can see a big burger restaurant over here inside the cave. Over here we can also see the coaster. Now, what I really liked about the coaster is actually when the coaster travels up the lift hill, there's actually a minecart train going in the other direction. Here we can see the train. It's actually called Counterweight. I think it's timed in a really cool way. Let's see if we can actually see it work. Yeah, so here you can see this train slowly going down while this one goes up. Yeah, I think that that's really cleverly done. There were some other cool things in this entry. For example, these cabana roofs were actually used together with the void color to make it look like stacks of coal. I think that's really clever. So yeah, a really cool entry from Skiva. Alright, here's an entry from Immortal Cactus. Now, I'm not really familiar with Katsui label, or if it's actually a real thing. Here we can see the coaster get launched from the station. There's these inversions here that are very high above the ground. Here there's this helix also high above the ground. Then over here there's several more helixes. So yeah, definitely not a very standard B&M Twister layout. I actually do quite like all these different inversions that Immortal Cactus made. Definitely not something you see every day. But yeah, really cool looking station as well. So with a big sign here saying Doom in Ivakaneer. There's also a warning sign behind here, lots of fire. Yeah, there's lots of cool stuff to see throughout the map. So a big burger restaurant over here called Burger Cave. He made some clever usage of invisible color here to make these signs here. But maybe it's not such a good choice. Maybe it's these bright colors that were used here for this pair of coasters. Not really sure if they work together well with the muted colors of the rest of the map. But still, I think it was a really fun map with some really clever tricks. And actually, one of my favorite tricks here is these vehicles that are actually made up of vehicles driving above each other on separate tracks. But it makes it look like they're part of the same vehicle. That's a really clever trick. Right, here's the entry from SolX. I thought this was one of the best B&M Twister layouts that I've seen. This layout is just full of inversions, one inversion after the other. And that's definitely what you would expect for a B&M Twister coaster. I believe it has 8 inversions. I think the coaster looks incredible.
Yes, over here we have this launch into the 0G roll.
co-barrel. Here's a top hat, not typically something you would see on a B&M Twister coaster. Here we have a loop, 0G roll, and after that there's 2 big corkscrews. Yeah, I think the map looks really nice. Love the landscaping. Also some clever use of invisible objects. Like over here, we have these wooden fences with snow on top, but the wooden part has been made invisible. So it actually quite looks like there's actually waves here in the ocean. I think that's really clever. Yeah, I think it's a really nice entry from Solex. Okay, here's the entry from Bam the Bomb. I believe he actually used an entry for a contest that he wasn't able to submit in an earlier round, and he reworked it for this entry. So here we actually see 3 dueling coasters. 2 of them are Twister coasters, and the middle one is a vertical drop roller coaster. Now, not really sure which one we had to rate. I believe it was Blue Blackout. Or maybe it was Cyanide. They're pretty fun names. I must say, for both of these layouts, for B&M Twister coasters, they don't actually focus on inversions that much. There's just lots of random hills in between. That's normally not something you would see on this type of coaster. So that's probably why people rated them maybe a bit lower. But yeah, lots of cool buildings in the map. I really like how this map looks. Also the foliage throughout the map is really nice. The buildings, especially the station for this for these coasters, I think looks incredible. So yeah, a little bit more focus on making the layout maybe a bit more twisty or inversion-y would probably have made it score a bit better. Alright, here's the entry from Fitwall. Fitwall made his entry look like it's in heaven. So we can see this huge Twister coaster over here. He travels up the lift hill. Also like this chain lift return structure here under the lift hill. Some really cool supports. Here it goes down the first loop. After that there's another inversion here, kind of like a dive loop. Over here there's this cobra roll, then there's the mid-course brake run, and after that there's a pair of interlocked corkscrews, just like you would typically see on real B&M Twister coasters. So yeah, very large B&M Twister coaster. Definitely the center point of attention in this map. But I also think the map itself looks great. Love the landscaping here. The style of the buildings also is great. And yeah, I think it's really clever how Fitwell made these clouds using the snow and ice landscape. I think it actually works really well for this purpose. Alright, here's the entry from Kanaifa. Now, I really like this layout for this B&M Twister. Very compact layout, but full of inversions. There's a big loop here, cobra roll, and there's this roll through the loop. Now here's a bit of a section with 2 helixes and just lots of twists. After that there's 2 of these interlocking corkscrews. Yeah, I think it's a really nice layout. Also some nice buildings throughout the map, especially this arena here. I think it looks great. Also I see horses in front of these. Looks like these horses are drawing cards behind them. I think that's some really nice use of the Ride Vehicle Editor plugin. A point of criticism that I had was that some parts of the map look a little bit empty and maybe could have been spruced up a little bit more. For example, this section over here. But also, for example, the middle of this helix. Just a few bushes in here probably would have already made it look a lot nicer. So yeah, definitely some room for improvement. Right, here's the entry from Astray Live and Sorted. And they made the Notre Donald's. So yeah, if you mix the Notre Dame with McDonald's, you get something like this. I think this is just a really silly idea. Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, I love this typical McDonald's roof around the lower part of the Notre Donald's. That's great. Also, there's a great coaster going through this building. You can see it reach the top of the lift hill over here. Here it drops down into this pair of inversions, where the top part has been colored yellow, like the big yellow M from McDonald's. And over here there's a string of more inversions. Yeah, that's what these Twister coasters are all about, just lots of inversions. And finally there's a pair of interlocking corkscrews with maybe a little bit too much track surrounding them before it returns back to the station. So yeah, I think this is just a wonderful and silly entry. You can also see the burger crypt over here. So people can go down here into this cave and there's actually a burger bar hidden here. Yeah, just a wonderful and silly entry from Astray Life and Sordid. Alright, here's the entry from Hobion and Milpje. Milpje made a return to our Discord after he left for several months. And in this round he teamed up with Hobion to create this masterpiece. Yeah, the overall map just looks amazing. I love this landscape here with this swampy region over here. You can see a skeleton pass over the track here. That just looks incredible. I really like how they did the flowers throughout this entry. Yeah, it looks like they used the invisible colors on the part which normally is green. Let's see. Yeah, so only the top part of the flowers are visible. And I think that gives a great effect here. And they used it throughout the map. I might also steal this trick. It's always great to find inspiration in these entries. As for the layout of the coaster, I really like the way they did the supports for it. I really like this first inversion. But I do think the coaster is lacking some inversions throughout the track. So yeah, the coaster is huge, but it only has 4 inversions. And for a B&M Twister of this size, I think I would expect it to have a few more of those. I think they definitely could have worked in a few more inversions throughout the track. But still, all in all, I think it's just a wonderful entry. Alright, there are just 2 entries remaining. Both were made by teams of 4 players. I will first show both of them, and after that I will reveal which one is the winner of this round. Alright, here's the entry from Enox, Flixby, Monsterbugs and The Brew. They made this beautiful entry. Now immediately there's this big eye catcher here in the middle, this huge clock tower. That just looks so good. Yeah, it's just full of nice details, makes great use of the new colors as well. Yeah, it's so many nice scenery pieces and track pieces. It's just an incredible structure. Definitely clever to have something impressive like this in the middle of the map. Yeah, there's lots of cool stuff throughout the map. I cannot possibly show everything, but I will show the coaster. By the way, if you want to look at these entries for yourself, you can download them from the contest archive on my Discord server. You can find a link in the video description. And Discord is completely free, so you don't have to worry about that. Anyway, yeah, here you can see this coaster, and throughout the map you can also see several streaks of gray go through the map, and usually in these areas rides are slower or they turn a different color, and this coaster just turns really slow in this area. I'm not really sure how they did that, but it's a fun trick. Here you can see the coaster travel through several of these inversions, a loop, and there's a Cobra roll, there's another 0G roll, and then does a big helix around this clock, and then finally it goes through these corkscrews. Again, these are in the gray area, so it travels through these really slowly. Now I'm pretty sure that speed has been tweaked just so they would travel through these corkscrews so slowly. So normally I would criticize this, but here it's definitely part of the theme. But yeah, really clever coaster. Some other really clever rides, for example this launched freefall, which actually goes slower in this gray area once again. Probably some clever shoestring to make sure it does that. So yeah, wonderful entry from this team. And again, I cannot show all the details in this video, but if you want to see this entry for yourself, just download it from my Discord server. And of course that also goes for the next entry. Alright, here's the entry from 94 Supreme Posse, Ball Pit Warrior, Beautiful Monday and Rishiko. And they teamed up to create this wonderful entry. It said something about a wizard near Rivendell, which used his magic one more time to create this. Now this entry has many cool things, like this dragon over here, with these trees cleverly used to look like fire. It has floating towers with some really cool looking magic here in the middle. Love these little floating pieces here. And of course it also has this B&M Twister coaster. Now once again, this B&M Twister coaster only has 4 inversions, which I think is a little bit on the low side for a B&M Twister of this size. So probably some of these hills could have just been replaced with an inversion, in my opinion. Especially this last section here is a bit lacking in inversions. But still, if we go through the map, yeah, there's just so much cool stuff to see here. See a big eye over here under the coaster. See a flat ride here. Yeah, just situated really nicely. Some really nice interaction here with the path. Some incredible looking buildings. You can see this really interesting swinging ship here, with a shoestring to make it so the sail also moves with the ship. Yeah, that's just a really clever trick. And of course the landscaping here on the edge just looks incredible. Love all these rocks, all the trees. Yeah, just amazing work. So yeah, you can really see what kind of cool stuff you get if you let 4 players team up with each other. Alright, it's now time to reveal which one of these last 2 entries is the winner of this round. Is it this entry from 94 Supreme Posse, Ball Pit Warrior, Beautiful Monday and Rishiko? Or is it the entry from Enox, Flick Spy, Monster Bugs and The Brew? And the winner of the Burger Cave B&M Twister Coaster contest is... This entry from 94 Supreme Posse, Ball Pit Warrior, Beautiful Monday and Rishiko. Now, as you can see, the scores for these 2 entries were really close together. So yeah, this just shows why all the votes matter in a contest like this. Yeah, just one different vote could have swayed the outcome in the other direction. So if you don't agree with any of the scores in this contest, then make sure you put your vote in for the next contest as well, so you can actually have an influence on the score of these entries. Anyway, yeah, lots of beautiful entries in this round. I love to see how players actually worked in different tricks with using the new invisible and the new void colors that you can use on objects. Yeah, it was great to see players use these new tricks, and I'm pretty sure we haven't even discovered half of what we can do with these new features. Now, a new contest will start soon. If you want to join one of these contests, yeah, just click on the link under the video to become a member on my Discord server. It's completely free, and then you will also be informed when we start a new contest. Now, if you liked watching these entries, please give this video a like. It would really help out my channel. And of course, if you want to see more of these videos, you can always subscribe. Anyway, that was going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.